Hey my loves, it's Lori from lifebylori.com and today is Wellness Wednesday, and today I am talking about fulfilling your needs and why that is important and what shows up when those needs are not fulfilled. And I'm going to share my story with you. Perhaps it will resonate and this will inspire you to look into this further and deeper, or perhaps all of your needs are fulfilled and you are lit up on top of the world, inspired, on fire, just like living your full dream and potential. If that's you, then you're definitely already probably fulfilling all of your needs. But if that doesn't sound like you, then there might be some things that are going on within you that you might be missing, that you might not even be aware is one of your needs that are not being fulfilled. So with that said, let me tell you my story. This was in January of 2020. Actually, no, it was like October of 2019. Right around that time. And I had spent 2019, 4 months I was living in Cabo and working in Cabo. Maybe you were following me and you saw that. And then I went to Bali when it was hurricane season in Cabo. I went to Bali for over a month and enjoyed seeing a client that was there and exploring Bali. That was one of my dreams. And I was an empty nester, so it was like the most perfect time to go and do a lot of that traveling. However, when I came back to California, I noticed that I started getting a rash on my skin, and it was very unusual. And it had lasted over a week, and I thought, well, this is kind of strange. I don't know what it is. And knowing that I had been traveling, I thought maybe I got exposed to something that my body's not handling well. And typically I don't go to the doctor just for every little thing, and I hadn't been in a really long time because I tend to be really preventative. However, in this situation, my girlfriend freaked me out and was like, man, that looks like something serious. You need to check this out. So I went and I got a primary care physician, and I had and when you haven't been to them and they have no medical history of you, you're doing every test under the sun, all of these medical history questionnaires. And one of the things that came up was an Aces questionnaire. And I don't know if you're familiar with what that is, but it's 10 questions about your life before you were 18 years old. So what you were exposed to and what your home life was. And I remember normally when I do like a health questionnaire, I answer like, do you have any of these ailments? And it's like, no, right? So when I did this Aces questionnaire, I answered like yes to all of them. And I remember thinking, I don't know, but something in my gut says this was not good. And so when the doctor came in and I asked him, I said, what's the purpose of this Aces questionnaire? I've never seen anything like this. And he says, well, what we've found is that people that have lived traumatic childhoods, that they have more health problems than people that have not had traumatic childhoods. And me understanding the mind-body connection and being aware of how negative experiences can deeply impact our health, that didn't shock me. But at the same time, I guess I didn't realize just how traumatic my childhood had been until I had done that. And so what he said, he goes, well, if you answered yes to like 3 or 4 of them, then we usually recommend that you get a cognitive behavioral therapist and we see what we can do and maybe work through some of those childhood things so that you are more likely to not have health problems as you progress through life. And I remember going, 3 or 4? Okay, well, what about 10, And so he set me up with a cognitive behavioral therapist, and she took 2 days to get my life history. And the first thing she said to me after getting that down was, wow, it's really clear to me that you have learned from a young age to deny your own needs. And Lori, this is going to be the best gift that you have given to yourself of receiving therapy that you've ever done in your life. This will be the best thing you could possibly do. And I remember thinking like, wow, okay, like game on. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. But when she said to me that I learned to deny my own needs, I remember being very confused because when I was growing up, what I understood as needs was, my dad would say, I provided clothing, food, shelter, warmth, protection. That's all I need to provide you as a father. And so when she said that, I was like, well, I have clothing, food, shelter, water, protection. Not only that, do I have friends, I have family, I have work, I have hobbies. I don't understand what she could possibly be meaning by learning to deny my own needs. And so it really has bothered me. And when I remember when we started working on therapy, I asked her what that exactly meant, and I don't think that I ever really got an answer that hit home. And so now, fast forward a year later, I'm sitting down and I'm thinking about this experience, about, my next level of healing from my life. And I know that EMDR is one of those things that I've been on a wait list to get. And I went back to that first session and how she said that, and I was like, what does that mean? So of course I'm Googling, what does it mean to deny your own needs? And a few things popped up that hit home. And one of them was that you're a people pleaser, meaning that you put other people's needs before your own. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, I've been a mom for 25 years. What are you talking about? Of course, you put your kids' needs first sometimes. But I did still know that I needed to put my own needs, to a certain level first. And I knew that when I had taken care of myself first, that I was always more loving to my children and everybody around me. It was only when I, didn't do that I was a little bit edgier, a little bit crankier than I was at other times. But it wasn't like that was a clear, conscious, coherent thought that I was constantly having. It was just something that was kind of in the back burner. So when I'm Googling this and it says people pleaser, and it starts to describe are you not fulfilling all of your goals? Are you feeling like, you're just running around helping everybody else, but not really making progress for yourself? And I was like, ooh, that kind of hits home, especially just as a mother. And even in the way that I would relate to my romantic partners, and putting my needs a little bit, or I don't know, because the word needs kind of was getting me, because I was like, well, this isn't essential. I mean, this is a want, this is a desire. This isn't exactly a need, essential for life, for me to be living and breathing and walking. And that's when I realized just how bare bones I understood my needs to be. And so as I was Googling, I came across a blog post where somebody talked about the things that I just shared. And also there was a list of needs, and this was from Nonviolent Communication. And they had a list of needs. And then next to that, they had a link that had a list of feelings that basically, if your needs were not met, then you would express this list of negative emotions. And if this list was met, you would experience this list of positive emotions. And so I'm like, oh, amazing. Finally, I have a clear idea as to what they mean when, your needs. And I start reading through the list, and I'm like, that's a need. That's a need, that's a need, that's a need. Oh my gosh, I thought those were extras, bonuses, ooh, even cooler, that I didn't realize that these were needs. And so then I look back and I click on the link for the list of feelings, and when it says these will be the ways that you feel if those needs are not met, I was like, oh man, this hits home. And then I thought of times in my life when I felt the most incredible, and I looked at the list of when your needs are met, you will feel like this. And I was like, when have I ever felt like that? And sure enough, I look back at the list of needs, and I was fulfilling all of those needs. I just wasn't consciously aware of it. So that really hit home. It really hit home for me just to be like, wow, okay, I get what she means when she says I had learned to deny my own needs from an early age. And again, what hit home for me was I remember one of my siblings, so I'm one of 8 kids, I'm actually number 4, and one of my younger brothers were crying in their crib, and I remember my mom going to get the baby, and my dad was like, no, don't go get the baby. You don't want to spoil the baby. The baby needs to learn how to self-soothe. Baby needs to be just left alone and figure it out. And I remember I was just a little kid, and I was like, I want to just go get the baby. Can we just go get the baby now? I didn't like this whole idea, but then I remember hearing him say, like, you're gonna spoil this child. And so that's when I realized now, 2021, that yeah, I probably learned to deny my own needs from the crib, you know? Because babies don't cry for no reason. Babies cry because they need a diaper change, they need to eat, they need cuddles, they need sunshine, they need exercise, they need comfortable clothing. Maybe they're hot, they're cold, they have had too much stimulation, not enough stimulation. They're communicating, and that's the only way they can communicate. And so I realized, yep, that's okay. The dots have now been connected. So now it's like, what am I gonna do about it? What is the plan now? Now that you know that you know this is your tendency, is to deny your own needs, where do you go from here? And so I'm gonna put this down in my blog at lifebylori.com, so you can go check it out, or you can just Google nonviolent communication and look at list of needs or list of feelings and see if any of this resonates with you. Maybe not. As a matter of fact, I hope not. But for the some of you where this is like, oh my gosh, you described me, I'm not feeling amazing and incredible, and like life is just such a joy to live, then, you know, maybe you might be somewhat similar to me, or you have your own story. So I just thought it's not fun to always share, you know, stories that are not exactly fond or happy moments of my life. However, if it's for the good of myself and for the good of you to share these things, that you can go and get the resources and learn something that maybe you weren't aware of either, then that is the reason I am sharing this stuff with you, because I know literally the thing that I wrote down for my New Year's resolution, because I wanted to take the time to just not just make some just lame resolution, but to really look at my life fully and deeply and say, what is the one thing that I could focus on for 12 months that would really deeply impact my life for the best and well-being? And the one thing that came up for me was healing. And not just healing in one particular way, but like also just being stable in my relationships, stable with my work, stable with my home life, you know, and stable in my health. And then I thought, not only just stability, but consistency. Not something that I just start up and then stop, and then start and then stop. So yeah, I want to heal and create stability in my life, but also create some consistency. So something that I do regularly, like for example, doing a weekly Wellness Wednesday is completely possible for me. And that is nothing too big that I couldn't possibly sit down for 15 minutes and talk to you about all things wellness, and using my life as the example, because, you know, I'm not an expert in everything. I just know what I'm going through, and by no means could I possibly know what anybody else needs. But perhaps sometimes when someone opens up and shares their life story and it hits home, and the light bulb goes on for you, it may actually inspire healing for you as well. So that's the intention. That's why I'm sharing this. And so I hope that you go, if this resonated with you and you'd like to look into the needs, go to my blog, lifebylori.com, get those links and check it out. And, you know, let's see where things go. I'm curious to hear what your New Year's resolutions are. And I do want to say thank you to everybody that reached out to me after last week's video, letting me know that feng shui, that having crashing waves is not good, and having spiky plants is not good in the home. Feng shui is something that I've always been interested in, but I definitely don't know that much about. So that's kind of cool. You guys always, your feedback always opens my minds. And I think that's the gift of community, is we all have blind spots in a particular way, and things that I might not see, you might see so clearly, and vice versa. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm wishing you a wonderful week full of health and wellness. And you know, one thing that I do say to myself on a regular basis when I sit still, and sometimes, you know, the day gets busy, I'll stop myself and I'll sit still and I'll breathe and I'll close my eyes and I'll ask myself, what is the next healthy thing that I can do right now? And then I breathe until that next inspired idea comes. And I am amazed what I come up with, and it doesn't feel like I'm trying to think of these things. It's like it just comes to me. And it's almost like the baby thing, like, what is my need now? You know, are my clothes too tight? Am I hot? Am I cold? Am I hungry? Am I tired? Do I need to get outside and work out? You know, do I need water? Do I need a hug? Do I need some love and attention? Do I need, you know, whatever these things might be? But it is now my number one primary focus, and that is my New Year's resolution. I am sharing it with you, and if this resonates with you, maybe you'd like to join me on a 1-year New Year's resolution to heal your life. I love Louise Hay's work on You Can Heal Your Life. She's been phenomenal. And now it's just time to go further and deeper than I ever have before. And I just know that only good is gonna come of it. And I'm wishing you health and wellness yourself, because you know what? When you are healthy and well, then everything around, not only does your life magically improve, but everybody around you gets that nourishment as well. So it's like the best thing you could do for the entire world is to do this. And it's not to seem that it's selfish in any way, shape, or form. It is self-loving. And I know that it's very common that you see things like, oh, self-love day, self-love. And sometimes, you know, somebody's saying, like, getting their eyelashes done, saying self-love day, or getting their nails done. And I'm like, is that self-love? I don't know. Maybe I know this much about self-love then. But all I know is that that's my commitment to myself, and know that only good will come of it for myself and for those in my life. So anyhow, thank you so much for being here with me today. I will be back next Wednesday with another video on wellness topics. If you have any questions or you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me on Instagram, Lori_painter. You can go to my website, lifebylori.com. You can shoot me an email at lori@lifebylori.com. Or you can just comment below this video. So anything that you have a particular interest with or questions that I may answer, I'm more than happy to answer them. Other than that, guys, have a beautiful week. Talk to you soon.